Hello, I'm going to Nevada. It's gonna be almost a 12-hour drive. So I'm leaving right now. It's 9:48 a.m. and we're gonna stop at Arches National Park first. And I really haven't ever vlogged before, for the most part. I've recorded some videos, like vlogish type of videos, a couple times when I did some cool stuff, but never in the car. So I just got this GoPro. I feel like a professional. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for so long, and I don't know if this will actually make it to YouTube. I probably just need to send it though, because like for the longest time I've been wanting to have a YouTube channel. I made an espresso coffee this morning because I won an espresso maker at my apartment complex. It's a pretty cool story. I went into the office at one point to like give back some keys, and there was a jelly bean jar there. So it was like right before Easter, and they're like, oh, guess how many jelly beans are in this? And I like tried to do a quick little calculation, then I was like, how many jelly beans are in this shit? Because that calculation makes no sense. I was like 3,600 jelly beans. So I gave that to the girl. I could tell right off the bat that I was close. She was like, okay. She's like, thank you. I was like, I had definitely got close to that. So then I got an email that I tied with another resident for 3,600 jelly beans. And they were like, you need to re-guess. So then I guessed 3,650 because that number just popped into my head. And then they told me I was only off by 8 jelly beans, and I won that Nespresso maker and a milk frother. So it's pretty cool. I'm coffeeed up. About in a little bit, spark this puppy. This is how much weed I can smoke. Literally not even this entire thing. I can take 4 hits of a joint and I am like zooted for 5 hours. Same thing with an edible. I'll take a 2.5 milligram edible and I feel smacked for the rest of the day. It's crazy. My tolerance is so low now, which is a good thing. Because back in New York it was so high. I feel like back in New York I didn't even fucking inhale the weed. I feel like I smoked it and I just like sucked it into my mouth and spit it out. Like spit that smoke right back out. I used to go through like, there was a phase after I graduated college, I would smoke like 2 or 3 blunts in one sitting. Did I even smoke that? Also, the quality of the weed, I always would pick the bottom shelf because it was cheap and I was broke. And I was like, oh, all weed's the same anyway. Meanwhile, I was smoking literal hay, and I'd be like, oh, I smoked 3 blunts. I was probably smoking the equivalent of like one of these, not even gonna lie. The weed here is so much stronger, even if you get the bottom shelf. This is like CBD and THC, so it's definitely very relaxing. Another thing too, I didn't have any frozen fruit to make a smoothie this morning. That upset me. But I got grapes, bananas, and green apples as my fruit of choice for this road trip. Usually have a smoothie every morning. It's really like not okay when I don't have a smoothie, but I'll survive. And then I made chicken salad. Oh, that's the thing in Colorado, like random like rocks will hit your car and you just gotta accept that that's what happens here. I made chicken salad because I made a roasted chicken for the first time. It was from like the Food Network, and she was like, stuff that chicken with salt and pepper copiously, an entire lemon, an entire head of garlic cut in half, and shove that bitch with some thyme. I was like stuffing this chicken, and I was talking to it because I never have prepared a whole chicken before, and like for some reason, like preparing a steak is one thing, preparing chicken wings is one thing, a hamburger, but like when you have a whole dead animal right there, as an ex-vegan for the first time, that shit was crazy. I didn't cry or anything. Like I really do understand now that there's so many valuable nutrients in animal foods that we cannot get from plants. At least for me, everyone's different, but that was my experience. I just stuffed it, hour and a half, salted and peppered the outside, put some butter on the outside. There were like carrots and onions in the bottom. And oh my Lanta, it was like the best meal I've ever eaten. I feel like I'm low-key a pretty good cook, so now that I'm eating meat, it's just like so exciting to try all these foods I've only ever had when I was like living with my parents. And no knock on my parents, they are great cooks. My mom is an excellent baker though. Cooking's not, like, I'm up here with my cooking, I think, at least on like my own stove, my own oven, cooking food, not baking. I am a fucking chef. Like, I'm ready for chops. I'm ready for Hell's Kitchen. I think I'd make it to like top 10 Hell's Kitchen. I think I'd be not eliminated on the first round on chops, so. But put me on the Great British Baking Show or like Cupcake Wars, I'm out for the kennel. Like, I'm such a bad baker. When I was vegan, I started to become so intolerant to so many foods. Like, I couldn't eat beans at all anymore. My gut was destroyed, and I feel like my gut is way better now. Like, I'm never bloated. But yeah, I'm so much healthier now. My skin is clearing up. Dude, I was like breaking out so bad as a vegan. It was not good. But we're in a better place now, mentally, physically, emotionally. Life is fucking good, and I'm going to Nevada. I'm going to Nevada. So the story is, I got this land in Nevada back in 2020 in like July, I think. I'm just holding this joint as a prop, I don't even know. I got it in like June or July, an acre of land, and I have the title and everything to the land. I know the coordinates, I know where that shit is, and I'm fucking stoked, dude, because I love Colorado and I love living in these suburbs, which never thought I would say that. Never thought I'd say that. But I'm like, next couple years, I'm making my moves out to the middle of nowhere. I came from the middle of nowhere, I must return to the middle of nowhere by age 30, you know. As I'm getting older, as society is crumbling, we're making moves towards getting into the middle of nowhere. So yeah, we're gonna scope out my land, and I might put a tiny house on it in a few years. So yeah, I'm stoked. I want to ideally get a job, whether it's at my current company or another one where it's fully remote. And I want to work till like 35, 40 maybe. I'm out of this rat race. I'm 24 and I'm ready to retire, bro. We're ready to retire. So yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna check out Western Colorado, Utah, Eastern Nevada. So this is like a day or two after I came back from Elko, and I needed to record something over all this road footage. I wanted to leave it in though because it's so pretty, but also I'll give you a little rundown on how/why I live here, and I'll give my review of the Denver area. So basically, New York was ran through for me in a variety of ways, / I ran through the entire capital region. I was bored of Albany and the surrounding area. I explored everything I wanted to see pretty much, and I was also just tired AF of the cold vibe, like the cold ass bitter vibe. People outside the Northeast do not understand the attitude that comes from that area. It's honestly pretty absurd now that I'm here looking back on it. Like, my first day here in Colorado, I went to Sprouts, okay, a great grocery store, and the cashier could tell I was new, and she asked me where I was from, and she was so warm and welcoming and just sweet. And I lied and said I was from Vermont because, TBH, I'm embarrassed of New York. I feel like New York natives just have this stigma, and it's also like the truth that they're kind of like, get out of my way and I'm going to stay out of your way and make this interaction as quick and painless as possible because I think the people suck. And yeah, it's probably way worse in New York City, but Albany was pretty bad. It's just this circle jerk of attitude problems. Like, yeah, maybe I still have somewhat of an attitude, but living here has made me a much nicer person and has improved my life in so many ways I can't even describe. People here are driven, and there are just a ton of like young people and people in general who like to do the same adventurous shit as me. There was barely any of that back in New York. Plus, New York weather is actually so bad compared to here. There's no humidity here. We barely get any snow, and it melts in a day or two. It's also like 55 degrees or higher at least once a week through the entire winter. Like always sunny, and you've got the hot AF Denver area and then the mountains if you want to escape. I actually get why it's so expensive here. It's freaking worth it. So yeah, Denver, Colorado area, I give it a solid A- on my scale of places I want to live. It's great, but I'm really not much of a long-term city kind of person. So yeah, back to the video. So, we've changed our headband. We've had Chick-fil-A. So basically I've made it to like the edge of Colorado and Utah, like the state line. And then I was like, oh, I gotta get gas. I have like 60 miles to go. And then there was no gas stations for 60 miles. My like cruising range in my car got all the way down to 0 miles, and it was like that for 4 miles, and it was blinking. And I was like, Lord Jesus, I pray that you get me to this gas station. And I made it to the gas station. Wow, that was scary. I decided, since it's so hot out here, because I'm like right outside of Moab right now, I'm just gonna drive straight to Elko. And I think I'm gonna set up camp like in the dark or go to a hotel. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens, but just wanted to give you an update. This is what's going on over here. Yeah, so I made it to Utah. Back to the road footage. So yeah, I've been wanting to get out to this land since I got it back in 2020, and I really felt like this trip was going to help create a major shift in my life that I was finally ready for. So many things have happened and changed here since I moved to Colorado, and some of them really sucked in the moment, but I finally got out of that period of stagnation I was in back in New York. My life had become so easy and so boring back home, and I think overcoming obstacles and learning lessons is such a good thing to like grow as a human being. I know everything that's happened here has been for my highest good, and everything in the past too, obviously, and even though this trip was chaotic up to this point and continued to be chaotic AF, I had a good ass time. So moral of the story, do some crazy shit. I'm going to a waterfall in Provo, Utah. It's called Bridal Veil Falls. I'm so hyped right now. Wow, this is crazy looking. That's so cool. Oh, I just got the Starbucks matcha. So good. So good. was a little sketch. Best part was 1,000% the Chick-fil-A and that dang Polynesian sauce. The coolest waterfall ever. I had to get out of there. Very nice. Somehow I ended up on the side of a mountain. I don't know how I got up here. I'm kind of scared. That's really scary. But I got myself up so I can get myself down. Right? Oh, fuck. I was trying to get to the top right there, but I can't. Dude, I'm up too high right now. This is crazy. Unless there's a trail that goes up there. I'm so happy I still have a little bit of my matcha left. This is exhausting. I went like over this way, but I couldn't get to that top part up there. Another day. I'm wrecked. Just kidding, I'll be okay. 3 hours to go till Elko. So I got, the first time, a medium iced matcha latte with oat milk and 2 pumps of vanilla. And this time I got the same thing, iced matcha latte with oat milk, 2 pumps of toasted vanilla. Oh my god, dude, no, don't do it. That shit was gross. I mean, I'm drinking it right now, and I'm still gonna finish it, but it tastes like a vape or something. Like a toasted marshmallow vape. But I say that now, I've only had 1 sip. I always go over curves. I only had 1 sip. Let me try again. See, like, I feel bad. Like, I would bring it back, but I don't want to waste it. With regular vanilla, that is the move. This shit tastes like a vape. It's like, okay. Like, that first one, the regular vanilla, 9.5 out of 10. This one right here, 6.5 out of 10. Not horrible. It's not great though. It's gonna be a no from me. So we're leaving Provo, Utah. We're going to Elko. Elko is actually 3 hours 47 minutes away. So, but yeah, driving's going pretty smooth. I'll be honest. Like, I had a coffee this morning. 1 matcha, another matcha. I'm feeling pretty good. That waterfall was so sick. Oh my gosh. I can't get over that waterfall. I'm gonna change my pants and then wet pants. Matcha. And it was $6.12. Not worth it. It's like almost good, but it's just not. But it's keeping me alert and energized. It's the best chance. I think I'm gonna drive by the big Salt Lake. The Great Salt Lake. Caffeine keeps So there's a giant ass wildfire back there on the way to Elko. So gonna stay in Salt Lake City overnight. That's the plan.